We're just a few minutes away from the Braves' final game before the All-Star break as the team tries to take one from the Rockies. Hey everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth, and no question, the news surrounding this team involves the loss of closer Jason Grilli to that torn Achilles. And you know what? A lot of guys in that situation, after getting hurt, would go home early, wouldn't be willing to talk to the media. Not this guy. Jason Grilli was not only present in the clubhouse this morning, but very positive about getting back to this team.
It's another one, man. I'll be out there next year. Mark my words. This one will be easier than the last one. I push myself. You lay yourself on the line every day. That's the only way I know how to do it. It's the way to do it, you know. Just unfortunate, like I said. This team's been grinding, fighting in the mix for the whole season, and to not be a part of it's tough. For me personally, I had some goals. I was feeling like I'm just catching stride, and wanted to be an integral part of this organization, and I will be. Next year, I just have to come back and do my thing and try again.
Jason missed all of 2010 with a right knee injury. He said, every time I feel like I get close to that mountaintop, something happens. But it's the only road I know. I just wish that road was a little smoother pavement. So let's hope the road for the Braves today leads to victory as we head into the All-Star break. Braves looking to take one from the Rockies. Series finale coming up from Coors Field.
Another perfect day for baseball here at Coors Field in Denver. Let's see if the Braves can scratch out a win and head into the All-Star break with their 43rd win of the year. Before the game, the Rockies All-Star representatives were presented with their National League uniforms. Troy Tulowitzki named to the National League squad when D. Gordon dislocated his thumb yesterday. So Tulowitzki, one of 3 Rockies going to Cincinnati. The Braves, of course, will be represented by starting pitcher Shelby Miller. Here's a look at the Braves Academy Sports starting 9. A late change. Cameron Maben out with what was described as an illness. So he'll be replaced by Yuri Perez and bats second in center field. Peterson leads off. Markakis, Kelly Johnson, Juan Uribe, A.J. Przinsky behind the plate. The outfield of Johnny Gomes in left. Simmons the shortstop, and Alex Wood will pitch and face Chad Bettis, who got bombarded last time out for Colorado.
26 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Lubbock, Texas, and Texas Tech. He was a second-round pick by the Rockies in 2010. His worst start as a professional: 2 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 10 runs, 4 home runs. So the Braves are hoping that there's more room to tee off again today against Chad Bettis, who is 4-4 overall and a 4.95 ERA.
I'll look at the Rockies' defensive lineup. Speed in the outfield with Stubbs, Blackman, and Carlos Gonzalez swinging a hot bat. 3 All-Stars on their infield. Arenado at third, Tulowitzki at short. DJ LeMahieu will start in the All-Star game, again with D. Gordon injured. He was going to be the starting second baseman. Now LeMahieu will start, and William Rosario, the first baseman. Nick Hundley, of course, is behind the plate. Arenado is some kind of player, and he's had a good series for the Rockies. And let's see if Atlanta can jump on a man that made his Major League debut against the Braves just a couple of years ago. That's Mr. Chad Bettis.
Get some offense going. 6 hits yesterday. 8 in the 2 games before that.
Hard to believe the Braves in 3 games in Colorado have scored a total of 8 runs. And strike 2. Good fastballs from Bettis.
90 to 93 typically in his fastball, curveball, and a changeup.
And that was fouled away at the plate. Peterson just did stay alive. Got to get Jace going a little bit. Doing such a great job leading off, hitting in the 270s. Jace Peterson has 12 hits in his last 72 at bats since June the 20th.
Yeah, it's a 167 average.
It's a little low, says Corey Blazer, our home plate umpire today. Blazer gets a nice break. He's umpiring the plate at home. He's from Denver, Colorado, so gets an extended stint at home for the All-Star festivities. Peterson's down on strikes, and that's how the game begins. 1 up, 1 down for Yuri Perez.
If there's one thing that Jace is going to need to work on in the All-Star break, or I should say probably in the second half, is that off-speed stuff. He's still trying to pull everything: fastballs, changeups, curveballs, and he's got to be better at hitting the ball up the middle and hitting the ball more to left center if he's going to get out of this funk.
Strike to Perez, who has a look back at the plate umpire. 0-1. For Braves team searching for offense, missing Maben is a real bummer. He's had a great July. He's had hits in 10 of the first 11 games the Braves have played in July. Don't know if Maben will be available to pinch hit. This one's popped up. First base side. William Rosario battles the sun. Can't find it. It's in foul ground. Hundley didn't get there. Rosario, looking up in the sun, was a good 15-20 feet away from the ball when it landed.
Well, there's one break. Apparently Bettis didn't see it either.
So a bonus for Yuri Perez. And he takes advantage of it. He ropes one into the left field corner. So Perez on his way to second base. And there's one of the few offensive breaks the Braves have gotten in this series. And Perez with a 1-out double.
Breaking ball in. He didn't give up on it, didn't flinch. So already a good fill-in for Cameron Maben. 90 degrees at game time, too, so a warm day. That's why Yuri's got his helmet off.
Nick Markakis, the batter, at 295. And that's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Nick has a 6-game hitting streak. 7 hits in that span. Braves are a different team when they get on the board early and when they score first. We've not seen much of that in Denver. No balls and a strike. And that's off the plate for an even count. I beg your pardon, it's a 2-0 count to Nick Markakis.
We mentioned last night that the opponents had gotten on the board in the first inning 5 of the first 6 games on this road trip. That's been an issue as well.
Bettis is a little frustrated that pop-up by Perez wasn't caught. Now he's 3-0 for the Braves right fielder.
Well, I would hope not. If I was a Colorado Rocky, especially after the last game, he gave up 8 hits, a walk, 10 runs, and 4 homers. I doubt that anyone said anything ugly to him after the game.
We might be saying, hey, I need all the help I can get.
Well, maybe.
3-1 pitch. And that one spun off the plate. Markakis flips the bat and makes his way to first base. A double and a walk brings up Kelly Johnson. Kelly accounted for all of the Braves offense here on Friday night. He had a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. A milestone hit for him that gave him 500 big league RBIs. He'd love to crack one here in the first with 2 aboard and only 1 out. Kelly's in the lineup despite the great numbers of Chris Johnson here at Coors Field. Chris did not run hard on a double to right, got thrown out, or a single to right, got thrown out trying to stretch it into a double in the 8th inning. Cost the Braves a great chance to take the lead. He owned up to it after the game, talked about that in the press, but needless to say, Freddie Gonzalez wasn't very happy about it. Quite simply, run hard, play.
Pretty simple.
No balls and a strike. And out of play. The left side, it's 0-2.
I remember a scout saying to the team I was on in AAA with the Dodgers at Albuquerque, and this was before free agency, but expansion was coming. And the scout kept saying, even if you think there's not room with the Dodgers, there's no room for you to move up to the big club. There's other people watching.
Kelly's down on a fastball, 2 out.
And the point was a good one, that there's always somebody watching, not just the fans who've paid their money to come watch you play and hope that you play hard, but there are other teams who might have needs, who are making grades on you as well and watching how you approach the game and how you play it. And that was not a good mark yesterday for Chris.
Kelly strikes out. Here's Uribe. Juan's hit safely in 11 of 14 games. 8 homers, 21 driven in. And that's high and tight, ball 1. Those folks have a great view of the ballpark. Right down the third base line. That's fouled off Huntley, I think. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside corner, strike 2 call.
94 on that fastball. And aside from walking Markakis, where he had some trouble throwing some strikes where he wanted it, locating it, so far his fastball location's been pretty good.
go. He did. Uribe with a back bend is called out on a check swing. Bettis struck out the side. The Braves got a one-out double and can't cash it in. Alex Wood goes to work in a scoreless first inning next. Wood takes the mound. Braves left-handed starter will try to cool off a red-hot Colorado offense that's always potent here on their home field.
His last two starts have really been good against the Pirates and the Phillies. 2-0 record, 2.70 ERA, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts. He'll try to bring that right into this start today. 5-2 on the road in 11 starts this year. His 4 keys to pitching success: do something that some of the other starters have not done in this series. Pitch in, establish in, and then work your breaking balls away, especially to these left-handed hitters and Blackman. He leads off the ball game. He's been on base 9 times in this series already. He has 7 hits. He has a walk. He's been hit by a pitch. Try to keep him off the sacks. He also has 2 stolen bases already in this series.
And he leads off a very potent Rockies lineup that has won 3 consecutive games. Tulowitzki, Arenado, and Carlos Gonzalez, a very potent middle of the order presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. So here's Blackman, and Wood delivers a first pitch strike. As potent as the Rockies are and the eye-popping numbers that they put up at home, there is one big asterisk for this Rockies offense. As this one's hit a mile high, no pun, to right. Markakis, looking up into the sunshine, is going to get there for the first out. As a group, the Rockies do not hit left-handed pitching very well. The Rockies are 4-14 this year against left-handed pitching. Left-handed starters, that is. Team batting average .252, and they've hit only 9 homers all year against lefties.
Is that right? Well, one of those wins, win in the books the other day, is a game that Alex Wood started. At 4-14, it was 3-14. That counted as a win
because he started the game.
Yes,
and threw 2 pitches. Here's DJ LeMahieu, National League All-Star, starting second baseman. That missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's fouled away. And the count 1-2. Joe, I know you've talked about this a lot with regards to Alex, but he's a different man since that June 23rd start against the Nationals, when he bought the Braves bullpen a couple of innings after giving up 3 runs. As LeMahieu swings and misses. Braves lost the game 3-1 on June 23rd in Washington. Threw 98 pitches, saved the bullpen, but pitched really, really well since then for the Atlanta Ball Club. You see the Braves defensive lineup behind him today.
Perez, the late addition after Maben was scratched. Yeah, I feel like he really grew up in that game in a lot of ways. He had to pitch that day. He was in the stretch a lot, but he only gave up single runs in 3 different innings. Gave his team a chance to win. And I think since then he's been a little more aggressive.
Not wasting any time between pitches today as Troy Tulowitzki bats. His hitting streak ended yesterday. His on-base streak, however, continues. And he'll be a 5-time All-Star. Tulowitzki added when D. Gordon was injured.
That ties Todd Helton for the most in Rockies history for All-Star appearances.
2 balls and a strike. And a roller foul. Maybe when Tulowitzki retires, they'll have a Troy Tulowitzki pierogi stand here at Coors Field. Jen, by the way, gave 2 enthusiastic thumbs up to the Helton burger yesterday. That burger didn't have a chance. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Tulowitzki is out, and that's the inning.
Pitched in. They don't like it.
And he didn't like the call either. Tulowitzki flips the hat and helmet away. A 1-2-3 first for Alex Wood with a couple of strikeouts. Playing fantasy baseball? Well, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand, on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. Braves fans all over downtown Denver this weekend. Atlanta hopes to give them something to cheer about today as we finish up the first half of the season. First half, that is, before the All-Star break. Bettis to Brzezinski, and that's fouled away. It's a strike to the Braves catcher. It's a 1-1 count. Nasty pitch down and in. AJ didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We've talked a lot, Joe, in this series about ways that we think the Rockies could improve their fortunes, not only at home, but on the road. As AJ's down on strikes, we know they have a huge home field advantage with the huge dimensions and the ability to bat ninth. I think this guy on the mound might be a way that organizationally they could improve their fortunes. Guys that throw hard.
Yeah, power pitching is always in demand, and they have certainly tried the other way with sinker ballers, trying to keep the ball on the ground here, but maybe this is a sign of things to come. Their A1 prospect that is in Albuquerque, last name is Gray, was a first-round pick at the University of Oklahoma, is also that type of pitcher, so they're waiting for his arrival. Walt Weiss wants it to be yesterday.
Ground ball back to the mound. That'll be the first non-strikeout out recorded by Bettis. And there's out number 2. Well, there was kind of a wink, wink, nod, nod in the newspapers here regarding John Gray. The Rockies, after the break, have 17 of 26 games on the road, and there was some speculation that perhaps Mr. Gray could be up after the break when the Rockies go to San Diego, a big pitcher's park. Of course, nothing certain yet. But there's nothing wrong with their bats. They've got to find ways to get people out. And a swinging bunt. That's a fair ball. Simmons isn't going to run, and he's going to be tagged out.
Only chance you got is to run.
Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and see if that ball was foul. Simmons thought it was, but the play at the plate called by Corey Blazer. Simmons is out on a swinging bunt, and we go to the home second.
Talked to Alex yesterday about the rather bizarre situation of going back on the mound 3 days after his last start. Of course, Mother Nature cut short his first ever start at Coors Field after just 2 pitches. Also took away his chance, guys, to tie his career high with 3 straight wins that he did earlier this season. But Alex talked about having a lot of ups and downs and really hoping for a little more consistency when things get going again after the break.
You know what, Jen, it's kind of hard to look at it as interrupting a 2-game winning streak when he got rained out. The game didn't. So we're going to put a little notch next to this one if he puts up the win today. Call it 3 in a row anyway.
Yeah, that was maybe the most questionable decision of this entire series. With bad weather forecast for first pitch at 6:40 here on Thursday night. As a base hit by Nolan Arenado starts the inning. That gives him a 5-game hitting streak. The Braves are out in order, 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Alex Wood started pitching in the bottom half, and the skies opened up.
That was not barreled up, but it was hit off the end of the bat enough to get it through, obviously, but another pitch away.
Can't do that to this guy.
No.
We've seen that, haven't we?
Yeah. And I thought Foltynewicz made a terrific pitch to him last night to get him to pop up.
A lot of discussion after the game and again this morning about the fateful play that earned the Rockies a 3-2 walk-off win. As this ball's bounced into right field for a hit. Arenado around second. He's on his way to third. The Rockies have him at the corners with nobody out. 7 hits in the series for Carlos Gonzalez.
Target away. Pitch had the outer third of the plate. Loves to get his arms extended. Been talking about that for now the 3rd straight game.
And that'll bring up Rosario. He's playing first base.
I would ask Luis Avilan about his effort against Gonzalez yesterday, which was a strikeout in a key spot. And I said, what did you guys discuss about don't worry about pitching around him? And he goes, no, I felt good about pitching to him because I was going to pitch him in. And I watched video, and I know he likes to get his arms extended, and I went right after him with 2 fastballs in and then a changeup. Boy, they were great pitches.
That's poked the other way, foul. And as you said, the pitch Fultonevich made looked to be a good pitch too. The ball just ended up in a perfect spot. A Coors Field blue pit. Braves couldn't cover it with Simmons, who scrambled out, and Cameron Maybin couldn't get there and then bobbled the ball as he tried to recover. And that time the winning run had scored.
Well, one of the things that was discussed at the mound when Fultonevich came in was that Freddie Gonzalez wanted his middle infielders to play just inside double play depth. In other words, playing close enough that you could come home if you had to. So Andrelton was playing in some, but he said also let the outfielders know to come in, bring them in as well. And whether or not they came in as much as Freddie wanted, I think was up for discussion. Obviously, it wasn't enough for Cameron to get to that ball.
Two and two to William Rosario. Man at the corners, nobody out. No swing. It's now 3-2.
Sure, Juan Uribe at third base is wondering why that one wasn't a swing and his was.
He's looking over there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ripperger is the first base umpire. Jeff Kellogg at second. Paul Emmel at third. Wood ready for his 21st pitch. And here it is. Swing and a miss. Fastball. Rosario didn't get it. And now Nick Hundley is a catcher. And if he hits it on the ground, could be a double play candidate. 1 out.
Well, ideally, first and third, nobody out. Man, if you can get that strikeout, you know you've got a chance to get out of the inning. But up and down their lineup, everybody's had a good series. Tulowitzki's one that hasn't. He's 1 for 8 now. Rosario's 1 for 7, but everybody else is 4 for 8, 6 for 12, 6 for 14. Everybody's had a lot of hits.
2 so far in the inning. Hundley's hitting the 3 double plays. And Wood found the zone. Strike 1. Counting the 2 hits today, the Rockies have 40 hits so far in the series. We're in the 2nd inning of Game 4. 1 ball, 1 strike. Base hit to left. Arenado scores. It's 1-0 Colorado.
one of the many offensive qualities they have is that as a team they do a good job with runners in scoring position. Arenado's got crazy numbers, well over 400, but up and down their lineup they're all good at clutch hitting.
Team hitting .292 with runners in scoring position. And now Drew Stubbs bats. And he looks at a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
The hard part about what happened, how the game ended last night, was that even after the ball dropped, Stubbs wasn't going to go. He was still standing at third. And then when Cameron dropped the ball out of his glove, that's when he broke.
Yeah, had he caught it cleanly, he had a couple of options. Maybe a play at the plate for a force, or with everybody else frozen, could have maybe thrown the ball to third, maybe thrown to second and got a double play that way. Maybe.
That depends on where Uribe was, as if he was the cutoff man.
Right.
And I think he was in.
1 ball, 1 strike. He's trying to get the ball in, but missed.
Yeah, good try. You've got to make him aware, any big league hitter, you've got to make him aware that you will pitch inside, make him respect that, so that anything you want to do away or change up wise can have more effect. But if they're not worried about you ever coming in, they'll just drape over the plate and wait for something they can drive.
Full count now for Drew Stubbs. Gonzalez at second, Hundley at first. 1-0 Rockies. A run on 3 second-inning singles. Wood lost him low, and the bases are loaded for the pitcher.
For a guy that strikes out a lot and likes to swing the bat, that was pretty good patience on the part of Drew Stubbs.
So here's Bettis. Does not yet have a hit this year.
Or in his career.
He's 0 for 30 lifetime in the big leagues, with 14 strikeouts. And he bunts that ball toward the Rockies dugout. Strike 1.
That may have come as a surprise to all the guys in white uniforms on the field right now, including his third base coach, Stu Cole.
Missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bettis, as Joe mentioned, is from Lubbock, Texas. Was originally drafted in the 8th round in 2007 by the Astros. He didn't sign. The Rockies picked him in the 2nd round in 2010.
You know, the thing about this effort to bunt here, it's kind of like it is, I guess we would call it a safety squeeze, because Gonzalez is not running. But what it does, it puts pressure on everybody else that is running the bases too, the guys at first and second, wanting to know if Gonzalez is going to run. Well, they have to run if he puts it down. Very interesting approach here. But you got to throw him a strike. That would help.
3 singles, a walk, and a strikeout so far in the inning for Wood, who's piling up the pitches. And he's got to throw Bettis a strike. And he pushed the bunt down. Runner coming home. Flip to the plate. Is going to be in time. Cargo forced out. Good flip by Kelly Johnson. And there's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, A.J. went ahead and tagged him, but I think that was only because A.J. wasn't sure if his foot was on the plate since it was a force play. He did look down. Make sure his foot was there. That was almost like Walt Weiss conceding an out to stay out of a potential double play.
So the bases are loaded still, but now there are 2 outs, and here's one of Joe's keys to the game for Alex. Retire Charlie Blackmon. He did the first time on a towering fly ball to right to begin the bottom of the first. It is a warm day in Denver. Temperature around 90 degrees.
That may have been a trip to the mound by A.J. to find out exactly what it is that Alex wants to do, since he had shaken off some signs.
In the air to left. Gomes is coming on. Can't get there. 1 run is in. Throw to the plate late. Blackmon hits it the other way and knocks in 2 Rockies runs, and they extend their lead to 3-0.
An 0-59 career mark with them loaded, but a pitch in the middle of the plate will always kind of help remedy that, and he just fought it off. It's like Johnny Gomes said after yesterday's game with respect to the ball that dropped in to win the game. He said, they hit triples over our heads, so we back up. They hit bloops in front of us, and they win the ball game. In this ballpark, there's no rhyme or reason.
So Colorado with 3 runs in the inning on 4 hits and a walk. And now LeMahieu bats. Alex struck him out in the opening inning. He got a corner, even count. And that's headed for the club level seating. And the count to DJ LeMahieu. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves need to win today to keep pace with the Nationals. Baltimore lost to Washington at home 3-2 today. And the final at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Braves start play this afternoon, 6 games out of first. And that pops away from Przinsky, and it's going to dribble all the way down the first base line, and Kelly Johnson retrieves it.
Shin guard. Kicked it to Kelly. Catcher can't go get it because for fear that the runner might just circle from second. But that was the pitcher, and I don't think he was going anywhere except to third. He was happy to get there.
And that's where he stands with 2 outs. 2-2 pitch coming for LeMahieu. And he struck him out, and that will retire the side. Colorado strikes first, second, and third in the inning. They lead 3-0. Against the Diamondbacks. That's brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans at Turner Field get a bobblehead featuring the soon-to-be inducted Braves Hall of Famer. Get your tickets today by visiting Braves.com/tickets. They had a big crowd at Dodger Stadium last night for the Brewers and Los Angeles. It was Juan Uribe bobblehead night.
And to commemorate it, Juan with 2 hits, including a homer last night for the Braves.
Like I said, you always do something special on your bobblehead day.
Yeah.
Need some special offense. Down 3 after 2 in Denver. Alex Wood will lead things off, then Peterson, then Perez. Milwaukee spoiled Brandon Beachy's return from the disabled list yesterday. Brewers won 7-1 last night. Tyler Youngman went the distance. He's 4-1 for the Brewers. Good looking pitching prospect. And a bright note for a Brewers team that's not had a good year. They have, however, won 7 of their last 10 games. Bettis now with a big lead. He can rock and fire. Missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Miami beat the Reds 8-1. That's a final from Marlins Park. Mets beat Arizona 5-3 today. Those are the finals back east. Cubs salvaged a game against the White Sox. They won 3-1. We will open up the second half of the year with the Cubs this coming Friday night at Turner Field. Out of play foul.
The Mets have won 4 in a row. The Braves had gotten within a half game of New York for second place, and now entering play today, they were 4 games back of the Mets.
New York scoring just enough runs to support a pitching staff that has been just awesome over the last 3 weeks. For the Mets, Rosario, long run, looks up into the sun and runs out of room. I think the Mets will be a fascinating team to watch over the next 3 weeks with the deadline approaching on July 31st. They have what a lot of teams want: starting pitching. What they need are bats. Will they be able to add one or two at the deadline? Wood walks. There's a start. Thank you very much. Second walk by Bettis.
That was tremendous. Good at bat. That's what his manager and pitching coach really wanted to see after being given a 3-run lead. Walk the pitcher.
Peterson struck out in the Braves first. And took the fastball at 94 miles an hour. A cue shot toward third. Arenado, bare hand play, a beauty. Don't forget about this kid's glove either. He's a Gold Glover, and he showed you why.
2 years in a row at third base.
He leads all Major League third basemen in defensive chances among National League third basemen. He's first in putouts, assists, double plays.
The Rockies talk about him like we talk about Andrelton Simmons, and that is that there's not a play he doesn't think he can make. He tries to get to every ball to his left. Obviously, anything coming in, we just saw he's pretty good at that too. But he has the confidence that Andrelton Simmons has at shortstop, playing at third.
Ball pops away from Hundley, but no advance by Alex Wood, who stands at second base. That ball had to have all kinds of crazy spin too, and to make it with a bare hand, that was a great effort in and of itself to catch it cleanly.
And he wasn't even running straight in toward the first base line. He was kind of headed toward foul territory on the third base side. Good arm.
Yuri Perez swings and misses and has an even count, a ball and a strike. Perez got a late starting assignment today in center field. Cameron Maben a late scratch due to illness.
Bettis was in Albuquerque for a time to begin the year. He was 2-2, 3.97 ERA when he got called up. You mentioned his major league debut. It came at Turner Field on August 1st, 2013. He got beat 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs.
Late swing and into the stands. Down and in, and Perez couldn't catch up.
That was his best one of the day at 95. Reports had him, scouting reports topping out at about 93, but you throw 95 down and in with that kind of sinking action, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts.
And now Nick Markakis, the final hope for the Braves in the third inning. Nick walked in the Braves first. Get it. He's painting right now.
Yeah, he's throwing hard and he's keeping the ball down. Good combination.
That one way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves trying to avoid some history today. The Rockies have never swept the Braves in a 4-game series. It's never happened. But they lead 3-0 in the 4th and final game today. Swing and a miss at a big lollipop curveball. And Bettis is very impressive today. He has struck out 6 Braves through 3 innings, and he leads 3-0 at home.
Right stuff, low price every day.
Time for the bottom of our 3rd inning in Denver. The Rockies lead the Braves 3-0, and it's trivia time. The AT&T Universe trivia question is: Coors Field opened April 26th, 1995. Who was the first Brave to hit a home run at Coors Field?
Well, that was the World Championship season. Several nominees there, including Chipper in his rookie year, David Justice. Who else? Hobby. I'm trying to think. Maybe Marquise Grissom. Do you know?
I wasn't here, so I'm relying on your expertise on this particular
boy, we're in
question.
trouble.
Might be, but could have been a pitcher. Did a pitcher hit a home run here?
Nah.
That you can think of?
I don't think so. Let's just put it this way. If it was, I'm not acknowledging it.
A lot less nitrogen in the air back in 1995 here, probably. As Tulowitzki goes to work. His all-star plans were changed in quick fashion yesterday. As we told you, he has been a late addition to the National League All-Star squad. Tulowitzki, after the game today, I guess will pack up the family and jump on a plane and head to Cincinnati. As a member of the National League All-Star squad, Bruce Bochy will be the skipper. Matt Holliday also has been replaced in the National League All-Star roster. Ryan Braun will replace the Cardinals outfielder.
That one surprised me a little bit.
Braves fans were hoping it would be Cameron Maybin. High fly ball to left. And Johnny Gomes makes the play. Tulowitzki's 0 for 2, 1 out.
Tulowitzki, though, who had his hitting streak snapped yesterday, is second in the major leagues in hitting since May 29th. 369 average since May 29th.
Well, those who are questioning if his hip was back and his bat was back, I think he's answering those questions with an all-star berth and tremendous numbers since the date you mentioned. Which makes you wonder, will Tulowitzki be a Rocky on August 1st? You know, this guy will be Nolan Arenado, who's already singled and scored. Jeff Bridich is the general manager of the Rockies. He did an extended interview in the papers a day or so ago and was asked specifically about Tulowitzki and the Rockies team in general. And Bridich said, look, I'm not committed to trading Tulowitzki. Obviously, if someone calls us, we'll listen to just about anybody on their ball club, which is what a responsible GM would do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that Tulowitzki is going to be traded. And he said all the offseason talk about the Mets and other clubs. This one's hammered toward Gomes. He retreats and makes the play for the second out.
Boy, is he quick.
But Bridich said the offseason talk about Tulowitzki was really much ado about nothing. Nothing, he said, progressed to the point where any serious talks took place. 2 fly balls to left in the Colorado third. That brings Carlos Gonzalez up. He singled in the second. Bouncer out to second. Peterson's got it. And Alex Wood has a much needed easy inning. 1, 2, 3 and out goes Colorado in the third. It's 3-0.
Family, spend your summer at Turner Field this year. Braves have great family events all summer long, like Georgia Lottery Friday night fireworks, kids run the bases on Sundays, post-game concerts, bobblehead giveaways, and more. Check out all the summer-long events and ticket deals at braves.com/summer.
4th inning. Kelly Johnson, Juan Uribe, A.J. Pierzynski to face Chad Bettis, who has struck out 6 in his first 3 innings of work. Of all the things that have been surprising, pleasant or otherwise this year, I would have to say the Braves' offensive issues in this ballpark has been a big surprise.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an early anticipation and look toward the All-Star break, looking toward a few days off. I don't know if that has something to do with it. He certainly played really good baseball in Milwaukee, win those first 2 games and had the third one won. And I don't know if that took some starch out of him or not, but typically you come to this ballpark, everybody gets amped up.
Braves have scored in 4 of 30 innings so far in Denver. And they're getting some opportunities. Second straight leadoff walk in as many innings for Bettis. And that's his 3rd in the game as he protects a 3-0 lead. Kelly Johnson, I thought, had a point worth talking about in the first game with all the different pitchers the Braves had seen. I think the first 2 games Atlanta had seen 11 different pitchers. Kelly said it was like a spring training game. All the moves that Walt Weiss made with weather and matchups, maybe got one at bat against a guy you had never seen before.
I think that has some merit. When you see all those different guys.
The Braves now their second time through the order against Bettis, throwing hard today. Man aboard, nobody out. Uribe called out on a check swing in the first inning. Fly ball to right. And that's playable for Cargo. And a long throw back to first. Kelly Johnson's back safely. There's the first out.
With as much clutch hitting as the Braves have done all year long and doing a great job hitting with runners in scoring position, it hasn't happened in this series. Through the 3rd inning today, they're 2 for 19 in the series.
AJ struck out his first time up and took a fastball inner edge.
Keep in mind that the offense for the Braves in this series, a 3-run 5th inning in game 1, which was highlighted by a clutch double by Jace Peterson with the bases loaded, and then a sacrifice fly. A 3-run homer by Kelly Johnson in the 6th inning of game 2, and then 2 solo homers yesterday.
Well, the hallmark of this offense has been, as Freddie Gonzalez says, to keep the line moving.
Right.
Get 4 or 5 hits, walk, advance base runners. We haven't had much of that happen at all here in Denver. As the Braves down 3 in inning number 4. The pitch is fouled at the plate. Brzezinski took some punishment.
Get him in the knee or the calf. You talk about the first half. I mean, we're well beyond the halfway point of the schedule, but the traditional halfway point is the All-Star break. And you talk about the first 88 games coming into play today. There are a lot of really good things to talk about and feel good about going into the second half. And 2 of those guys are on base and at the plate right now. Kelly with 9 homers and 32 RBIs, hitting .275, and was expected to be just a role player off the bench, left-handed role player, and this guy at the plate was supposed to maybe catch 50 games and back up as well. And AJ's done such a tremendous job, not only offensively but especially catching.
All the youngsters he's had to catch.
Yeah, they've been 2 real bright points for players who were brought into the ball club, not expected to be everyday guys.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes, and a bouncing ball to first. Rosario with a strike to second, and a throw to first in time, a double play.
What a good throw. With a runner going, man, he threw a BB to second.
A converted catcher playing first base, and Rosario smothered it, threw a strike, and started an inning-ending double play. This for Alumni Weekend, Friday, August 7th through the 9th when the Marlins are in town. Great opportunities to get autographs on Friday night, plus Friday night fireworks. Saturday, the first 20,000 fans get a 1995 World Series replica ring, and the 6th annual Legends softball game is Saturday, too. For tickets, visit Braves.com/Alumni Weekend. Rosario started that slick double play in the top of the inning. He leads off the bottom of the 4th. Alex Wood struck him out his first time up. Alex has 4 strikeouts, a walk, and he's allowed 4 Colorado hits. One ball, 1 strike.
The way things are going here right before the break, you start thinking about what happens after the break, and the Braves catch no break there in terms of the schedule and who they're playing. Cubs, Dodgers, Cardinals, Baltimore.
12 straight games against winning teams after the break.
Pretty tough start to your second half for anybody.
The Braves are 14-23 against winning clubs. That's why we talked about on paper the series against Milwaukee and this series against Colorado, and how important that was. Fly ball, shallow right. Markakis covered a lot of ground. It held up for him. And there's the first out. And we say that with an asterisk as well, because this is such a wild card place. You don't know really what to expect, no matter the Rockies' record, and it's not a good record. They're 38-49.
I think you do know what to expect, Chip. I think you do know that coming in here you're going to score runs. You expect to score runs. They've got the worst ERA in baseball. Starters, relievers.
But the point is, Braves have it.
Well, I know, but so you go to Coors Field, the one thing you worry most about is, will your pitchers give you a chance to win, because you know you're going to score 5 or 6 a night at least, and the offense has not done their part. So I don't consider that a wild card when you come in here, except from the pitching standpoint.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Nick Hundley. Bouncing ball to second, and Peterson to throw to first.
That could all be cured with a real good 5th through the 9th inning today, and put a bunch of hits and runs on the board, go home happy, at least salvaging one game out of 4. But right now they've got 1 hit. They've been shut out through 4 innings by a guy who gave up 10 runs and 2 1/3 his last time out.
And nobody expected that today. So here is Stubbs. He walked and scored the 3rd of 3 Rockies runs back in the 2nd inning. And a big swing and a miss. Strike 1. AJ got hit again.
Right in the chest on that one.
Just missed a corner. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's one of your keys. Try to get the ball in on these Rockies hitters.
Yeah, he's attempted to many times. Yeah, he has.
And that one's cracked toward the gap in left center. That'll roll all the way to the fence. Stubbs can really run. He's around second. He's on his way to third. There'll be no relay. It's a 2-out triple for Stubbs.
This is what's frustrating about Drew Stubbs, is look how quick this swing is. Fastball, outer third. Stayed back nicely, used his hands. He could be such a tough out along with some power if he didn't try to hit for power, because he can eat up some ground with those strides. 2 outs, get the pitcher.
Betta spun it into a forced play at the plate back in the 2nd inning. And a strike. Two in a row. Braves will have the bottom part of the order coming up in the 5th. Look out. Looks like everybody's okay. And now 1-2. Stubbs with a 2-out triple is 90 feet away. Alex does not want to go to the top of the order here if he can avoid it, and he won't as the pitcher strikes out. No runs, a hit, a man left. Off we go to the 5th. 3-0 Colorado in game 4.
3.5 out. They were 4 games over. The Braves coming into play today were 4 games under. But Kansas City was last in the league in homers. They got there playing baseball kind of the way the Braves have played here in the first half. The Giants, a different story. They were battling for the first place spot in the National League West. And the Royals took them to Game 7 of the World Series. So it's not that far-fetched when you see where the Braves are right now. But a win today would certainly make you feel better. It'll have to be another come-from-behind win.
Yeah, if the playoffs were to start today in the National League. As this one's hit in the air to center. And Blackman retreats. He's got it. Gomes is out number 1. Cardinals have the best record in the National League. They would be the number 1 seed. The Dodgers are second. The Nationals third. The Pirates and Cubs would be the National League's first and second wild cards. The Mets are a game behind the Cubs for the wild card. The Braves are only 5 out of that second wild card. And as we have seen, you get in and you've got that 1-game shootout. Braves certainly have candidates in the pitching staff that could make things very, very interesting indeed. Base hit for Simmons. Only his second of the series, and it comes with 1 out.
Alex had a good at bat his first time around, drew a walk. And he's had a good year at the plate. 5 hits, 29 at bats.
Even with the bag at third, now creeps in as Wood showed bunt and took a ball inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
He has 5 sacrifices. Good bunter.
It's fouled off the catcher. It's now an even count. That one foul as well. 1-2. He got it to the grass. It will roll foul at the very last instant. Hundley almost picked it up and circled the baseball and pounced on it the instant it crossed the white line. That's a strikeout.
Pretty good read on his part. As you could see, after it came off the grass, it had a little bit of momentum and just enough to get off the chalk. Little tic-tac-toe. Or excuse me, no. What am I thinking of? Hopscotch.
Hopscotch. So back to first to Simmons. 2 outs. Jace Peterson, the hitter. And a high hopper to second. Easy play. Inning over, and the Braves' offensive frustrations continue in Colorado. Nothing across through 5 and only 2 Braves hits.
And I will be. Next year I just have to come back and do my thing and try again.
You know what? Getting a chance to talk to Jason Grilli earlier today, was really struck by how determined he was, saying, this isn't how I want to end things. That's not how I want to hang up my jersey. He was very determined. And when asked, do you think you'll be back for spring training next year? There was no hesitation, no doubt. He said 100%, mark it down, put it in ink. I'm going to be there. And look, guys, for someone at his age, 38 years old, who has had so many injury troubles throughout his career, that was certainly not a given. I think some of us certainly wondered if that might be the last we'd see of Jason Grilli, and he made it very clear that was not his plan.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. And obviously we can't wait to see Jason Grilli back and giving it a shot in spring training next year for the Braves. What I was struck with as well, Joe, was how emotional Jason Grilli got when he was thinking of all the texts and phone messages, well wishes, notes from former teammates, guys around Major League Baseball, fans in Braves country. I mean, he was in tears when he talked about that before the game.
And I had honestly forgotten that he had pitched here over the parts of 2 seasons, and he got a quick text from Todd Helton, wishing him well, and everybody wanting to let him to know they'd do anything they could to help him if he needed it.
Charlie Blackmon starts things off for the Rockies in the 5th. 3-0 they lead. Swing and a miss. So we're obviously going to lose a man who saved 24 games in the first half of the season at the back of the Braves bullpen. That's the bad news. The good news is Jason Grilli has said he's going to follow the team and be around the ball club all year long. So for so many of those young pitchers in Freddie Gonzalez's rotation and in his bullpen, they're still going to have a very wise, capable, vocal teammate / leader there to help him along the way.
Sure, and they'll be smart to listen to him. I can only speak from my own experience last year going through the same thing, and obviously quite a bit older than Jason.
At first base, nice play, Kelly. Bad throw as his momentum carried him toward the second base bag. And A.J. Brzezinski was ready to throw to first just in case Blackmon turned and broke towards second base. He didn't, and he's aboard to start the inning.
Got to lead him, and it's hard to lead him when you got to throw back across your body that way. Anyway, Dr. John Gleason did such a wonderful job for me, and as I told Jason today, whoever does the repair work on you, you got to follow the protocol. You got to listen to him and follow it to a T. And Dr. Gleason told me, he said, it'll probably be 6 months before you put on a shoe where it actually feels right.
Really?
And he was right. My injury was in June of last year, and by December 1st, the shoe felt right on my foot, where I was walking around. I was doing just fine without a brace or anything, but I wasn't coming back to pitch in the big leagues either. So if it takes 6 months for you to get to that point, and I'm sure Jason will heal faster than I did, but if it takes you 6 months just to get to that level of comfort, how much longer will it take you to then be able to pitch? And it's his left ankle, so it's his stride foot. A lot of torque on that when you land on it.
Fly ball, well hit toward right. Markakis sprinting toward the corner, will get there. Nice catch. And Blackmon's back to first with the first out. That's a question that the St. Louis Cardinals are eagerly waiting an answer to with Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, and Adam has said, nice play by Nick there. Adam has said he thinks he can pitch by the end of the season. I have my serious doubts about that, but more power to him if he can. It just, you can't make it heal any faster, and it's going to heal.
And let's be honest too, it's not like the Cardinals need Adam Wainwright right now, the way that club is pitching. So he's got the luxury of waiting until it's completely healed. Tulowitzki hitless in the last game and a half.
It's not like I'll say like a broken bone that after the 6 weeks giving it a chance to heal where you can tape it up or pad it somehow and protect it and get away with it. This tendon is so precarious even as it's healing that you start trying to accelerate the process, you're asking for trouble.
Were you surprised at how dependent you were on your Achilles once you figured out you couldn't use it?
Oh, it's nuts. Not to mention how dependent you become on your friends. Carry your bag for you everywhere.
That was not a problem. Hauling Jimmy around was a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, it was.
Fly ball to center. And Perez drifts back. And he's got room to make the play. Blackman's going to tag, and he's going to be safe at second. Andrelton Simmons was there to apply the tag, and when he raises that right hand and points to the dugout, that means Freddie Gonzalez and Carlos Tosca need to take a look at this one, and they will.
Yuri Perez had all the time in the world to get behind this baseball and come to it. He played it off to his glove side, caught it, had to bring the ball then across his body to his throwing hand. That took time, and maybe the time difference between safe and out.
Apparently not enough evidence for the Braves to challenge the call at second. That's another example of how Coors Field can play havoc with a team's defense. Deep fly ball to straightaway center, and a runner at first can tag and move up.
Watch how Perez catches this baseball. He's drifting. He should have been hustling over there, but he catches it over the wrong shoulder, then brings it back to his throwing side, then takes his crow hop, and all that was a difference maker on what turned out to be a very good throw.
Boy, little things like that happen almost every day in the big leagues, don't they? The footwork, the subtle transfers that outfielders make or don't make.
Yeah, well, the little things like that drive me crazy because that's where I play.
Well, sure. And in your day, there's outfield practice all the time. Guys worked on that. We don't see that anymore. That's, again, at the risk of sounding like an old goat, as Don Sutton would say. You don't see infield or outfield practice before games hardly at all anymore.
No.
And I think it shows. One ball, one strike, 3-0 Colorado. We are in the home fifth. And Nolan Arenado is the hitter. Magic number for Colorado in runs this year is 4. When they get 4 runs or better, they're 34 wins, 19 losses. And that's not just at Coors Field. They've won 16 of 21 road games when they've gotten to 4 or better. They've got 3 so far today. That's downstairs. Might have a new leader in the American League West at the end of play today. The Angels started the afternoon a half game behind Houston. The Angels are winning in Seattle 3-0. Houston lost today in Tampa Bay 4-3. Astros have lost 6 straight games. And now the Braves try pickoff play at second. Simmons smothered that. Brzezinski had the right hand raised as if to ask for an intentional walk of Arenado. Is an intentional walk. First and second, 2 down. And here's Cargo. Big series for Carlos Gonzalez. He's 7 for 14 with 5 RBIs. He's also hit 2 homers to center. good pitch. In 2010, Cargo had a year for the ages. He hit .336, scored 111 runs, hit 34 homers, knocked in 117, stole 26 bases.
What a year.
And he did that in 145 games. Slow roller toward first. And an easy play for Kelly Johnson, and the walk to Arenado was the right play. We go to the 6th inning. It's 3-0 Rockies. August 6th in Atlanta, where country superstar and Georgia native Billy Currington will perform after the game in a free post-game concert brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. VIP field and backstage passes are available. Get them online at braves.com/concerts. Time to get some runs. 2, 3, and 4 on the lineup card up. Chad Bettis has recovered nicely from a 10-run bombardment in his last start against the Angels. He's throwing a 2-hit shutout on his home field with 7 strikeouts. Bouncer toward first, and some miscommunication between Rosario and the pitcher. And Perez is in safely with a bunt single.
That was a nice moving pick by Bettis. Good push bunt by Yuri, and then the guy with the ball couldn't get to the man running. He was going to beat that even if he had tossed it to Bettis. So a good start to the inning.
Big hole right side for Nick Markakis, who has walked and struck out today. Way outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Nick has 28 multi-hit games in the first half of the year. He's riding a current 6-game hitting streak that's on the line today. .379 on base percentage. He scored 36. He's knocked in 28. And he's 2 hits away from 100 for the year. And ball 4. Now we're cooking. 2 on, nobody out. And as Joe talked earlier, a couple of veterans have really helped pace the Braves in the month of July are Kelly Johnson and A.J. Pierzynski.
Yeah, Kelly's had a real good road trip. All 3 of those homers have been on this trip. 10 RBIs. A.J. with that hot streak, especially while he was in Milwaukee. 375 mark in the month. And a couple of homers for him.
Those are our Toyota key players. And here is Kelly. He struck out and walked. And he broke his bat, and he'll dump one into right center field for a hit. Perez is going to get waved. Cargo's throw is cut off. And Kelly Johnson followed the script with an RBI single, and the Braves are on the board. It's now a 3-1 game.
That looked like a base hit that the Rockies have been getting over this series. Just dumped it in front of everybody. After what happened against the Angels his last time out, I can't imagine that Walt Weiss will go too far with Bettis if things start getting a little hot and heavy.
A bunt single started the inning, a walk, and now a hit. Brings up Juan Uribe, our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
And his work has been outstanding too over the last 2 weeks. Had a homer here yesterday.
One in, 2 on, none out. And a ground ball slowly toward Tulowitzki. There's one. LeMahieu's throw to first is late. Slow developing play. Kelly Johnson's forced out at second base. Atlanta has runners at the corners now with 1 out.
Chris Rusin loosening up. You saw him.
So first and third for A.J. Pierzynski. He was doubled up to end the 4th inning. Ball 1.
Anything but that here. Something to the outfield to get Nick in, make it a 1-run ball game, then see what happens.
Fly ball into left center. That's going to drop for a run scoring hit. So the 2 veterans, Kelly Johnson and A.J. Pierzynski, come through with run scoring singles. Markakis scores the second Atlanta run, and it's now a 3-2 score.
Yeah, that was even better than a fly ball. Because now you got the tying in and go ahead runs on.
And a hitter in the box who's had extraordinary success in this ballpark without a lot of opportunities. Johnny Gomes. And a strike. Johnny Gomes in his career at Coors Field, 19 hits in 55 at bats, including today's play. And even better, 6 home runs and 13 RBIs.
Well, a single to tie it up would be real nice right here.
In the air, well struck, deep toward right. Cargo on the run, reaches up, can't get it, and that'll bounce over the fence for a double.
I don't know if AJ could have scored, but would have liked to have seen the opportunity. Johnny hit the ball hard and a long way the other way. Fastball up. Short, quick swing. Just out of the reach of Gonzalez.
6 men have come to the plate. 3 have scored. On 4 hits, a walk, and a force out. Now Andrelton Simmons will have the bat taken out of his hands. The Rockies will load the bases. And Braves pitcher Alex Wood's going to come up.
It'll be his 4th walk.
Braves have finally been able to take advantage of the base on balls.
Well, and they've gotten some hits with men in scoring position this inning, and what a difference that's made.
As you said, make the Colorado Rockies cover everything in the outfield. Walt Weiss's team hasn't been able to do that. Not many can. So Wood can help himself. Alex already with 4 RBIs this year. Let's see how the 8th hitter in the inning works in the 6th inning. Upstairs, ball 1.
They're playing their middle infielders halfway. LeMahieu even a little deeper than that. Good pitch there in a tough spot. Infield can back up a little bit. At least Arenado backed up 3 steps at third base.
And Alex Wood is struck out. Jace Peterson's in the batter's box. They have the lefty up in the bullpen. Jace Peterson, as we know, has been the most productive hitter in baseball with the bases loaded this year. That's the spot he finds himself with 2 outs in a tie game. Jace Peterson's got 20 RBIs in bases loaded situation. Most by a Braves player since 2012 when Dan Uggla had 22. Ryan McCann has the Braves record of 26 bases loaded RBIs. That record goes back to 1974. Good stop.
The last at bat was kind of exemplary of what Jace has been doing. That pitch, fastball running away from him, and he's still trying to pull it, rolling over the top of it. That's when he's got to start hitting the ball to center, driving the ball to left center field, take that pitch where it's pitched, especially in situations like this. And that was a burner in.
Peterson, the 9th man to hit in the inning. And they had him played perfectly. Tulowitzki is there and steps on the second base bag. And that will retire the side. The Braves bat around in the 6th inning. RBI hits by Kelly Johnson, A.J. Przinsky, and Johnny Gomes have given new life to Braves starter Alex Wood. It's 3-3. Game. Good job by Alex Wood. Gave up the 3 runs in the second. He has allowed only 2 hits since. And now he's got the bottom part of the Rockies order. Rosario, Huntley, and Stubbs coming up. He's done great work on the road. He's 5-2 this year and 11 starts away from Turner Field. And he's never lost to the Rockies. He's tied up as the Colorado first baseman digs in. He's 0 for 2. Not anymore. Leadoff hit on the first pitch.
Well, that was a good inning for the Braves. Get the offense kind of awakened by batting around. And now with the score back even, up to Alex to have a shutdown inning. And get another ground ball from Hundley.
Huntley drove in the first run with that second inning hit and later scored on Blackman's single. That's fouled away. Steve, rank 1. One ball, one strike.
Good try, trying to bust him in, just went upstairs a little too high. Get a ground ball, need something down.
Liner into left field. Back-to-back hits. And former Arizona baseball star Nick Hundley's at first. Rosario stops at second, and here's Stubbs.
That one was down, had a lot of the plate, and Nick Hundley's making himself into a pretty good-looking hitter. Hitting over 300 for the year, 2 hits today. Six for 11 in the series.
Stubbs has walked, scored, and tripled today. And he bunts. Uribe fielded it and took the out. So it's sacrifice. Rosario's at third, Hundley's at second. And it's going to be Michael McHenry pinch hitting for Chad Bettis.
This was a little bit like the play Hundley let roll foul earlier. I felt pretty good about it rolling foul. Obviously, Juan didn't, and he took the out.
McHenry caught yesterday, got 4 at bats and struck out in 2 of them. Now the Braves infield will gather and discuss strategy with Charlie Blackmon waiting on deck. Who's been impressive since his summons from AAA is the first Brave loosening up.
The Braves walked some guys to get to McHenry a couple of times yesterday, and because he doesn't play as much as Hundley, a guy they wanted to go after, that guy they thought in the lineup spot he was in the lineup was a person they could go to for an out. Infield is back. They'd give up 1.
Good stop. 1 ball, no strikes.
Two strikeouts, 2 fly ball outs yesterday, and the Rockies would take one of those fly ball outs right here.
Oh. Got Alex with 2 walks, one of them intentional. He scattered 8 hits.
.2-0 changeup, couldn't get him to bite. That would tell me that the plan was not to give him anything to hit, and it'd work on the left-hander who has 2 hits today. Now another changeup.
Let's find out together. 3-1 pitch is slowly rolled down the third base line, and it's a foul ball.
And it was a changeup and in a good spot where he tried to go out around it and get it. Would have been ball 4, I think. 2-0 changeup, 3-1 changeup. Does McHenry give up on the fastball here and look for something like a backdoor breaking ball?
Didn't get it.
That was a great sequence by Alex and AJ. It was almost like they weren't in any hurry to get him out early in the count, and then it's like McHenry helped him out and helped get himself out.
Yep. Swung at ball 4, fouled it away.
Yeah.
And then couldn't catch up with the fastball.
And it was almost as if they said, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then.
Now with 2 outs, you have the luxury of pitching carefully to Charlie Blackmon. Only because Blackmon, as Joe said, 2 hits and 2 RBIs today, and LeMahieu, a right-hand hitter, is 0 for 3 next. I'd like the inning to end right here. And that's an excellent start. Strike 1.
I like what the outfield's doing here. A base hits with 2 outs going to score 2 anyway. Yeah, I mean, if he hits the ball over their head, it's going to score 2 anyway.
Right.
So Yuri Perez has come in. I'd like to see Gomes even come in closer too from left field with lefty on lefty. But they're playing shallow. The only guy that's in regular depth is Markakis in right. They're trying to take away that Ric Flair. Blackmon gets down the line quickly, as we saw earlier. Anything hit to the right side, especially if it's hit to Kelly, Alex is going to have to bust it over there to cover.
Nothing in 1 for Blackmon. Late on a fastball, it's 0-2. Wood gets out of this. He'll have 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the 7th.
You see AJ clapping his glove. It's like, all right, this is where we wanted to be. Let's make a good pitch.
See if they go down and away after up and in missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Line drive, right field a hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Huntley around third. He's going to score. And Blackmon does it again. A 4 RBI day for a man that Joe said was one of Alex Wood's forward keys today. He's put the Rockies back in front.
On a 1-2 count, he got a breaking ball and he got a hanger. Target was away, and it started at the middle of the plate and supposed to go away, but just didn't have the bite on it. Boy, has he had a series. Very impressive.
10 hits and 17 at bats. Now Wood versus LeMahieu, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, as we said. Now LeMahieu singles to right. And the Rockies have him first and third. 4 hits in the inning. And that might be the last pitch Alex Wood throws today. And it is. Freddie Gonzalez is on his way to the mound. Wood at 100 pitches. Surrenders his 10th hit. And he works 5 2/3 innings.
He was so close to getting out of this inning.
But no such luck for the Braves left-hander. He departs. Trouble afoot for the Rockies, who've extended their lead. It's 5-3.
By AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
As Joe said, Alex Wood was 1 pitch away from escaping the 6th inning with a 3-3 tie, but he couldn't finish off Charlie Blackmon on a 1-2 count. He singled to right, drove in 2 runs, and after a LeMahieu single, the Braves lefty will give way to David Carpenter here in the Colorado 6th.
David Carpenter's been sharp since he came up. 3 outings, 1 in Milwaukee, 2 here, 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs or walks. Yeah, he made all those good pitches to McHenry, talking about Alex, to get the strikeout, and then got ahead of the left-handed hitter and just had one mistake again to Blackmon.
So now David faces Tulowitzki with runners at the corners. And he's that slingshot breaking ball that missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Carpenter's 3 for 3 in retiring first batters in his brief stint with the Braves. They called him up July 6th. Carpenter earned his way to the big league club with only 3 earned runs allowed in 37 innings pitched at Gwinnett with 36 strikeouts. Ball 2. That one fouled the mark. 2 balls and a strike.
His fastball's high 80s, low 90s. He relies on good sinking action on it from that arm angle that he delivers. He has a good sweeping slider that Right-handers tend to chase. We've seen that so far. Oh, man. I don't know what was wrong with that.
Outside, I'm guessing. Let's take a look.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. And he caught one.
Instead of a 2-2 count, it's 3-1 for the Colorado shortstop. Hit a mile high toward left. Gomes on the run. Still going back. It's gone. Tenth home run for Tulowitzki, and now 49 RBIs, and the Rockies break it open.
Fastball in that he got around on this time. But a 3-1 count, you can afford to kind of let it fly instead of it being 2-2. 105th career homer here.
So after the Braves tied it with 3 in the 6th, Colorado answers with 5 of their own. Alex Wood has allowed 7 runs in 5 2/3 innings today. Tulowitzki's homer makes it an 8-3 game. It's the first run David Carpenter has given up as a Brave. The runs charged to Alex Wood. Eight runs, 11 hits for the Rockies. And a swing and a miss will end the inning. 5 runs come across, 3 of them after 2 were out. That hurts. Colorado 8-3. To the 7th inning. And it's time to revisit our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Coors Field Open, April 26th, 1995. Who was the first Brave to hit a home run here?
I'll say Chipper.
I'll say Chipper. I'll say David Justice. Oh, you had it.
Yeah, I said his name. I didn't believe it.
Nope. Marquise Grissom, the man that christened this ballpark from the Braves bat rack. As we look at Chris Rusin, he's on for the 10th time. Nice rebound game for Bettis. 3 runs in 6 innings. He could win it.
10th game for Rusin.
Braves sent 9 to the plate in the 6th inning. 3 of them scored. Yuri Perez started that frame with a bunt single. Brandon Barnes takes over in right field for Carlos Gonzalez. And he'll be tested early on a squibber into shallow right. Perez with a leadoff hit in consecutive innings.
Third hit of the day.
Couple of walks, a strikeout, and a run scored for Nick Markakis. Chris Rusin is the 15th different pitcher the Braves have seen in the series.
And he's been in their rotation. His last outing 4 days ago against the Angels, he went 6 innings and gave up 2 runs as a starter. And both of them were solo homers.
Wonder if Walt Weiss is thinking along with Freddie Gonzalez. He used Manny Banuelos in an inning almost as a side session. Get him an inning now. The All-Star break will come. He won't be completely rusty when play resumes on Friday. Excepting Rusin, the Rockies have 4 left-handers in their bullpen. Logan, brothers, Friedrich, and Flande. It's Rusin who gets the first relief call today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a squibber out towards short. There's one. Close play at first. Markakis just ahead of the throw. Force play, 1 out.
Slowly hit ball allowed Perez with his speed to get down there and make it hard for LeMahieu to make that turn to first.
He's having a good day, replacing Cameron Maben, who had an illness before first pitch and was scratched. Here's Kelly, an RBI hit. He's also struck out and walked. And a strike.
Rusin's high 80s, low 90s with a cutter, change up, and a slider.
Tried the outside corner, didn't get the call. It's 1-2 for Kelly. Juan Uribe to follow, then A.J. Pierzynski. The Rockies scored 3 in the 2nd inning. Alex Wood stopped him there until the big eruption in the home 6th. Braves runs came across at the top of that inning. A single, a walk, another hit, force out, a single, a double, an intentional walk, a strikeout, and a force play. Plated 3. And Kelly didn't get it. He is struck out. 2 are down. Hammered into the club level. That one hit so hard it almost opened one of the doors. That's down the left field line and into the shadows. It's 0-2. Poked right back to the pitcher. And the inning is over. No runs, one hit, one man left. Seventh inning stretch in Denver. The Rockies are in command.
if you will, in the bottom of the inning. But I tell you what, I feel like part of my job is to take you guys into these visiting ballparks. So I have made my way a mile high to the rooftop section of Coors Field. Now, Coors Field, 20 years old, but this is just the second year for the rooftop. Technically, we are 4 feet below being a mile high. That's marked by the purple seats that are around the stadium here. And there are some Braves fans up here. I found them. I think they were mildly aware of what was happening down a mile below on the field. But pretty cool place to watch a game up here, fellas.
Now, Jen, can you see the mountains from up there?
Yes, definitely. You look out across. It's a beautiful view, whether you want to look down at the field or up across at the mountains. And I would also like to point out that I'm not consuming any food on this visit. So sometimes I do go places and it doesn't involve food.
Well, that's a good point.
Know.
I was going to say, if you drop one of your cheesesteak wrappers or your Hilton burger wrappers on something, you could have hurt somebody if it falls from that high.
It could be bad.
And I would say that since you already had a burger, had something to eat yesterday, maybe you should have something to drink while you're up there.
I like that idea. So I'll see you guys after the game.
All right.
That's our final report of the first half from Jen Hildreth here in Colorado. The players will be providing their own clubhouse sound after the game. As Brandon Barnes leads off and pokes one foul and out of play. Thrilled to have Jen back, and congratulations to her for her great work on the Fox Sports coverage of the FIFA Women's World Cup up in Vancouver.
Star is born.
Yeah, she did excellent work. Glad to have her smiling face with us here in Colorado, where the Braves try to come back from an 8-3 game as Barnes cracks one to straightaway center. Perez, it's over his head and off the base of the fence. Barnes on his way to second. He'll stand there with the double.
This guy's a nice utility player for them, infield, outfield. Very well liked here among the fans for his hustle and hard play.
Every single Rockies player, with the exception of the pitcher and pinch hitter Mike McHenry, has at least one hit. And they have 12 more today. Here's Rosario. He has an RBI single. That was part of the big Rockies 6th inning. There's a strike. We won't see Colorado again until late August. The Rockies will make their lone visit to Turner Field August 24th, 25th, and 26th. Part of a two-city road trip for Colorado. They'll head to Pittsburgh on the final August weekend. To the left side, Simmons loads up, long throw, and he got his man. Nice play. Rosario's retired. No advance of Barnes. One away.
You mentioned earlier, Chip, that the Rockies have never swept the Braves in a 4-game series here or at Turner Field. In fact, the last team to sweep the Braves in a 4-game series with Cincinnati back in May of 2012. Rockies, in fact, have won 5 straight against Atlanta, dating back to last year here at this ballpark.
Two hits for Nick Hundley, 2 runs scored for the catcher, and he takes a little low. Come here, you expect an offensive shootout. It's been a one-sided affair as far as that's concerned. The Rockies have 50 hits in 4 games. Braves have 11 runs and 31 hits. And that's their series total. 2 balls and a strike. Hundley, then Stubbs. And now 2-2. Braves have a long travel day ahead. Make the long bus ride out to the airport. And then we'll fly back to Atlanta. The All-Star festivities start in Cincinnati tomorrow. The Futures game is going on now. At last report, the Team USA squad was winning handily over the World squad. It was 10-1, something like that, in the 7th inning. Home run contest tomorrow with the time limits and the new bracketing. It'll be interesting. The All-Star game to follow. And a couple of days of rest before Friday night back at work with the Cubs at Turner Field. A 7:35 start on Friday. Swing and a miss. Hundley didn't get it. There's the second out of the 7th inning.
There's that breaking ball that's been so effective, but he couldn't get Tulowitzki to chase it back in the 6th inning. He didn't get a call that should have been a strike that led to a 3-1 count, and Tulowitzki then hit the 3-run homer. Tulowitzki's homer was his 7th career homer against Atlanta. That tied him with 2 of his current teammates among their active players for the most homers against the Braves at 7. Carlos Gonzalez is 1. Do you know who the other one is?
I don't.
Drew Stubbs.
Really?
Has 7 career homers against the Braves. He has 7 and 107 at bats coming into play today. Tulowitzki now has 7 and 188 at bats.
Just think if this guy, Stubbs, cut his strikeouts by 10%, how good a player he'd be. And he's terrific now, but the lack of consistent contact is at times maddening. He's had a good day at the plate today. A walk, a run, a triple. He's laid down a bunt for a sacrifice.
Well, it's these at bats that really make a difference for him, would make a difference, where when he's behind in the count, if he's willing to shorten up his swing and maybe just try to hit the ball back through the middle as opposed to still trying to go into launch mode, that would be a huge difference maker for him, in my opinion.
Launch mode. Deep left. Combs as far as he can go, and Stubbs has hit his 8th homer against Atlanta.
You don't have to shorten up when you get a hanging breaking ball. That was not as good breaking ball.
It's 10-3. And now Rusin can carry on. A 7-run lead. We're in the 7th. Fan has himself a souvenir out in the bleachers in left. And 1 ball, 2 strikes. He came prepared. He's got a Ziploc bag. He's got the piece of paper to write the name of the hitter on it to put in with baseball.
Was there anything in that bag before he put the ball in there?
Might be empty. I don't know. Ground ball toward first. That ate up Kelly Johnson.
Get them while they're hot. 4th hit of the year for Rusin. 4 for 18 as a pitcher. That's pretty good. I think I look like he's doing a catalog out there in the seats with that new baseball he got. Got right down the inning and outs, wind conditions.
Major League Baseball authenticators are going incognito here in Denver.
They are.
10 runs, 14 hits for the Rockies. Blackmon has 3 of those hits, 4 of those RBIs, and he scored 1 of those runs. And a strike. Nothing in 2. San Diego won a game today. They beat the Rangers 2-1.
This guy had the biggest hit of the night or the afternoon. That 2-out, 1 ball, 2 strike hit he got in the 6th inning.
As you said, Alex, he gets Blackmon. Still a tie game.
Yeah.
He didn't. A 2-run scoring hit. LeMahieu single after that. Alex's day was done. Tulowitzki then a long homer. They've been playing Fireball on the PA a little too much to the Braves' liking. That's the song they play on the speakers when the Rockies hit a homer.
I love that song. I'm just sick of it. I've heard it enough.
Not the only one.
Jake Brigham loosening up in the Atlanta pen. Freddie Gonzalez said before the game they were not going to bring up another pitcher to take the place of Jason Grilli just for today. They thought they had plenty of rested pitchers and they needed them.
In the air toward left. Gomes drifts out and he'll make the play. And that's going to retire the side. 2 more runs, 3 more hits. Drew Stubbs with his 2nd homer of the series. He earns our SunTrust Save of the Game honors.
He didn't bring his glove just for show. Left-hander, too. Yeah, fist pump. Got it. Now I think he saves this woman's life right here. He goes around and reaches over the top and kept her from getting hit right in the hat. Nice play.
So that's our SunTrust save of the game. Big day for the Rockies offense. Double digits and hits again. The Rockies have 52 hits so far in the series. AJ hits one to straightaway center. Blackman going back, but he's going to have room. There's the first out.
Isn't it odd that in 3 of the 4 games, the Braves scoring has been confined to 1 inning? And the other game, the 2 solo homers were hit in back-to-back innings, the second and third.
That's what Colorado hasn't done. They've scored and then they've had add-on innings, add-on runs. There's a strike. Three balls and a strike for Gomes, and he will take a walk. 1 on, 1 out. Anderson Simmons will be the batter. He's got a hit. He was walked intentionally back in the 6th, had a swinging roller at the plate, didn't run, was tagged out to end the Braves' second. That's hit to straightaway center. A walk and a hit. And Pedro Siriaco is going to pinch hit for David Carpenter. Carpenter went an inning and a third. 2 strikeouts. 3 hits. 3 runs. 2 homers. Keeping with our theme of good stories for the Braves in the first half, I think this man in the batter's box is certainly one of them. That's Pedro's body of work over the 37 games he's played in. He's had a lot of big pinch hits for Atlanta, too.
I agree. I like him.
It's fouled off Huntley, strike 1. Pedro 7 for 19 with 4 RBIs. He has pinch hit assignments for the Braves.
What did he do? He dropped the bat like he hurt himself.
Foul off of him first.
Yes, it did. It sure did. I mean, that noise that we heard is usually shin guard related, or the inside of a shin guard.
1 strike. Dodgers held off Milwaukee 4-3. Giants beat the Phillies 4-2. Cubs beat the White Sox 3-1 at Wrigley today. Here it's 10-3 Colorado. Out of play right side. We will see the Cubs Friday night. Pitching matchups have been set. The Braves rotation will be Julio Teheran on Friday night, Manny Banuelos on Saturday, and then Sunday Shelby Miller in a 5:05 start for the Braves. Thinking there for Miller is if he pitches on Tuesday in the All-Star game, he'll be back on his regular turn on Sunday. That's out of play. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Then the Dodgers come to town. Braves will have LA Monday, Tuesday nights, and Wednesday afternoon. Then we go on a long road trip. Visit the Cardinals, the Orioles, and the Phillies.
What'd you call that? The all humidity
The
trip?
all humidity tour at the end of July. Looking forward to going to Baltimore. I haven't been to Baltimore in a long time. Ballpark that really started all the renaissance of the new stadiums throughout Major League Baseball. And justifiably so. Great place.
Talk about another good hitter's park.
Get to see Adam Jones play. That's a treat. Star outfielder for the Orioles, who are 3 games behind the Yankees. That ball jammed Siriaco and a fly ball to left. Barnes is under that, and he's got it. I beg your pardon, that's Stubbs out there left. Barnes is in right. My mistake. There's the second out. And Jace Peterson, the batter, 0 for 4. Imagine for a young player like Jace, the break's coming at a perfect time right now. A chance to refresh, relax, clear the head, and get set for the sprint to the finish beginning on Friday. Broken bat. Little pop down the left field line, but that's out of play. Strike 1.
I think Freddie's very cognizant of that. He gave Jace a day off in Milwaukee. Gave Andrelton a day off in Milwaukee on alternate days, knowing that the All-Star break was coming up. And Jace especially has been in there, it seemed like, every day for a couple of months. He's a strong kid, but everybody gets worn down.
Ball, 2 strikes. He fought that off. Able to do it again. Twins won again. They beat the Tigers 7-1 today. Well, Paul Molitor's clubs had a terrific first half.
Big surprise.
Minnesota Twins have 49 wins at the All-Star break.
Good for Paul and his ball club.
They'll be 4.5 back when things resume on Friday. Check swing roller. Peterson taps in front of the plate, and Hundley with a throw to first, and somehow Rosario was able to hold the bag. No argument by Terry Pendleton. The Braves are done in the 8th. Chicago Cubs coming to town, and here are your Chevron probable starters.
As Chip just told you, Julio Teheran will go for the Braves against Kyle Hendricks, 4-4 for the Cubs. And then on Saturday, good matchup of lefties. The young lefty for the Braves, Manny Banuelos, against John Lester, who's only 4-8 for the Cubbies in his first year there after signing a big contract. And then Sunday, Shelby Miller returns to action and returns from the All-Star break, All-Star game, against Jake Arrieta, who has been outstanding for the Cubs at 9-5 for the year.
We'll have a chance to see all those young Chicago hitters facing the young Braves pitching staff. It'll be a lot of fun as we see Jake Brigham on for the second time in this series. Boy, was he a lifesaver in Game 1. That horribly soggy night here on Thursday after Alex Wood left after 2 pitches. It was Brigham that came in after the 2-hour and 6-minute rain delay and gave up 4 runs in 4 innings on a night when he wasn't expected to pitch at all.
Yeah, he gave up 2 in his first inning, 2 in the second, and then nothing after that. Just 1 intentional walk, 1 strikeout.
So he'll face LeMahieu, then Daniel Descalso for Tulowitzki, and then Nolan Arenado. Tulowitzki can start to pack his bags for the All-Star game. He's headed that way along with the man in the batter's box and the man batting behind Descalso. Bouncing ball left side. That's going to squirt through. Batting try by Simmons. Couldn't make the play, and LeMahieu's got another hit. His 7th of the series.
That one hurt Andrelton. Kind of rolled on his arm funny, making that diving effort. And I got his arm or wrist trapped under him.
Descalso started Game 2 on Friday and had a triple, an RBI, and a run scored. And takes a strike. Oh, and 2. That's out of play left side. It's still no balls, 2 strikes. Little flare into shallow right. More Colorado hits. That's 16 in the game.
Braves pitchers have seen enough of those to last them the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching this guy swing the bat in this series. You know, you hear a lot about a player, but when you only see him twice a year, and we haven't seen them until now for this season, what a quick bat he has. Excellent glove. One of the real rising stars in the National League.
And don't just think it's because of Coors Field. This guy punishes pitchers on the road too. He's the real deal.
Quick bat's quick bat.
Yep. Third.
Looks like he really likes to play too. We've seen him be upset when he's struck out, you know, mad at himself for chasing bad pitches. coming into this series, you know all about Tulowitzki, you know about LeMahieu having an all-star type year. He'd already been selected. Gonzalez was hot.
Fly ball, shallow center. That's going to get down for a hit. Runner around third. Perez's throw is over the head of Kelly Johnson. And in safely is DJ LeMahieu on the third consecutive hit by the Rockies in the inning. An RBI single by Arenado.
And you knew about Arenado. We knew about him. We knew he was a good player. But I'm not sure that I appreciate what kind of hitter he is. That pitch up and in, and he fought it off. And a good throw here by Yuri Perez. On target, but late.
70 RBIs for Arenado. Double play ball. There's one. There's two. Runner to third. 2 outs. And here's Rosario.
But the MVP of this series to me, after saying those things about their notable players, has been Charlie Blackmon.
Very impressive work out at the leadoff spot. He's hit lefties, he's hit righties, made all the plays in the outfield. 10 hits.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him really tested in the outfield. But boy, he has had some kind of offensive series. I guess it's a little bit like AJ's series in Milwaukee, only over a 4-game stretch.
Right. And that's really cruel and unusual punishment, making a visiting team come in here and play 4 games. Big home field advantage for the Rockies, and they've taken advantage here this weekend. They're 3 outs away from sweeping the Braves in 4 games for the first time ever. And that'll end the inning mercifully. We go to the 9th inning. 11-3 Rockies in game 4.
The Georgia Lottery, Sherwin-Williams, and Toyota.
Off we go to the 9th inning. All Colorado. They're up 8 runs. And Rex Brothers will become the latest pitcher for Colorado. Only the 3rd they've had to use today.
3rd of an inning yesterday. Gave up a couple of walks, and they got him out of there. He's a guy that we talked about having had tremendous workloads over the last 3 years and had some saves 2 years ago, but things have gone sour for him, and you You see, that was his first appearance since getting called back up from Albuquerque.
And this is the perfect kind of game for a guy that's had some struggles to try to figure a few things out. His team's got a big lead. Maybe he can get into a groove for Colorado before the All-Star break. They have 4 left-handers in their bullpen, something Walt Weiss is going to evaluate over the break. And Brothers perhaps pitching for one of those spots. Braves have 3 runs on 8 hits today. The Rockies 11 runs on 17 hits. Yuri Perez has had a nice day. He's got 3 of Atlanta's 8 base hits today. A double and a bunt single. He's also scored a run.
11 of those hits for the Rockies came in the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
There's a strike. It's 1-2. 3 hits in a game, the most Yuri Perez has ever had in the big leagues. Line toward left, and a nice running catch. Perez retired. There's how the 9th inning begins, and Cameron Maybin will stride to the box and pinch hit.
Maybin was a scratch just before game time. That's why Yuri Perez was in there. Cameron's had a good first half.
You'd have to throw him in that MVP mix conversation for the Braves.
And his 10-game hitting streak snapped last night.
On 4 straight, Maybin walks. With an 8-run lead, I should say. Brothers walks Cameron Maybin.
That's what got him in hot water with his manager yesterday.
Braves got the game tied in the 6th inning with 3 runs. The Rockies, though, have scored 8 unanswered.
So close, though.
Yep.
Alex Wood was so close to getting out of that inning with no runs being scored. And they went on to get 5. He's all over the place. They have a former first-round pick,
Tyler Matzek.
That's home with anxiety issues.
Down goes Kelly Johnson. There's the 2nd out of the 9th inning.
Matzek was 6-11 last year with a 4.05 ERA, and
I think he made his debut against the Braves last year, if memory serves. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Uribe, the final
he did.
hope.
Set down the first 13 he faced.
Fouled at the plate. Strike one. Well, Freddie Gonzalez talked about Coors Field quite frequently this weekend. Called it the House of Pain. It has certainly been that for the Braves over the last 4 games. He's been outscored 24-11. And Uribe's still alive. Nothing in 2. Away 1. Foul at third. I wonder if their music volume coordinator was an intern with the Dodgers.
He was, yeah, as it turned out.
No balls, 2 strikes. And upstairs.
One not going quietly regardless of the score.
Broken bat roller out towards short. And the pick first is in time. And the Colorado Rockies have swept the Braves in a 4-game series. Great way for Troy Tulowitzki and his teammates to head to the All-Star game. 11-3 your final score in Denver. The Braves fall to 42-47. And we'll look forward to our date with the Cubs on Friday night. More coming away from Denver, Colorado after a quick break.